All right, we are back for another day of San Francisco 49ers training camp coverage. Today was a good day. It wasn't crazy, but it was a good day. I think there's a lot to take away. Things that really stood out to me, defense. Really excited about some of the things that I saw today. Can't go into too much detail. Shh. We don't know who's watching. We don't want those other teams to get any intel that they shouldn't have. But we'll talk about it as much as I can. Some of the things that really excited me, some of the players that really stood out. Upton Stout, honestly, is probably the biggest riser of training camp so far. Pearsall starting to find his groove. Still some things that he can work on. But overall, today was a pretty competitive practice. And I think for considering that this was the last practice before joint practices with the Denver Broncos, I like the level of competitiveness. I like the way that they were preparing for the Broncos, and I'm excited to tell you what I saw today and everything in between. But you guys already know what to do. Drop your SDS in the chat, smash that like button, and let's talk about it all right now.
Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it.
All right, what is going on, gang? Good to see you guys. Coming a little bit later than normal, but still got to get you your details. We still got Levi State. I'm still here. Why am I here? I don't know. I don't know why I'm still here, but we're going to talk about what happened at 49ers camp anyways. Like I mentioned, some exciting things went down today that I can't give you full details on, but I can give you a little. But before I get into any of that, let's talk about some of the other things that stood out. Again, one of the best individual matchups. You know, one of the things that I love to see from training camp early on is hold on, let me get this pulled up. Why can't I pull it up? Let me pull up details super chat. Thank you. My guy said, helping a brother out during the great real depression of 2025. Make sure you go and sub to my boy Detail. He's cooking up some good stuff. You won't be disappointed. Yes, the great real depression is out there, but you know what's not depressing? Watching Upton Stout and Pearsall battle on the field the last 2 days. Honestly, again, like I was about to say, is one of the things that we look at, or what I look at heading into camp, is like individual matchups. Which individual matchups stand out? And Upton Stout versus Pearsall is really turning into one that's a lot of fun to watch because there's a lot of back and forth. You can tell that, you know, we saw with Pearsall and how he ended his season last year that he's pretty solid. He has some ability to be a good wide receiver in this league. You think of the Detroit game and what he was able to do in his connection with Brock Purdy. And so you know that, you know, he's had some success. He's been able to do it at a certain level. There's obviously other levels that Ricky can get to within the league. But for a rookie and considering everything that he went through that offseason, it was pretty impressive. And so when you continue to kind of assess these things, and you're seeing Upton Stout, who is quickly becoming one of the stars of this 49ers rookie class, it's pretty impressive to see these two battle. You had two one-on-ones today, so they only won against each other in one-on-ones, from my understanding. Upton could have gone against someone else, but anyways, both the reps that Ricky Pearsall took in red zone today, which was like a red zone one-on-one period, typically they have the whole field to work with. They moved it to the end zone for a condensed space. So obviously trying to get open within a 10 to 15 yard range. And so they're dealing with more press man. They have to get off the press a lot quicker, and they have to be able to create separation in a red zone simulation. And it was just really cool to see these guys battling. Upton won both the routes, won both of those reps today. One where it looked like Ricky was stemming to the outside to the right, getting ready to set up an inside move coming back. It looked like Upton had put himself in a really good position to make a play and just kind of jammed Ricky, and Ricky kind of slipped out, hit the ground. It was a really good rep by Upton. And then they lined up again, and Ricky tried to angle towards the back corner pylon, and Upton was just right there in his hip pocket. And there was just no window to put the ball. It's just good coverage. And so, again, Upton's been showing up in not only coverage, he's been showing up in the run game. He's a guy who's not afraid. He's physical, even though he's 5'8". I mean, he's given all the short kings all the confidence in the world right now because he's balling. And he would have ear-holed Brock Purdy on a sack. He would have obliterated him. Well schemed blitz that got him free, untouched, right to the quarterback. So Upton's been having a great camp. It continues to show up in team period, and again, where it shows up in team period is in the run. He's balling, man. So I really have appreciated what I see from Upton. He's going to start. Like, there's no question about it. He's going to start. He's going to start. He's going to start. He 100% is going to start. He has to start. Upton had probably one of the sickest PBUs of all of training camp. It was, I don't know if it was a wheel route. I assume it was a reel. I didn't see the play develop. But all you see is Christian McCaffrey running down the seam, looking like he's wide open, and you're like, oh, and you see Brock uncork it, and you're like, yeah, that's a touchdown. In my head, I'm like, touchdown. Touchdown, Brock Purdy to CMC, 50-plus yards, and then all of a sudden, Upton Stout, I don't know where he came from. He came from behind, reached his hand in between CMC's hands, and broke up the pass. And I was like, wow, what a play. Upton Stout. Go off, short king. I was very impressed. I was like, I thought that was a touchdown. I thought it was a walk-in touchdown. And because there was no one in front of CMC. If he caught it, he would have been gone. And again, it was just it was a good throw. It was a good route. Just a better play by Upton Stout. So he's dope. He's really good. So I've been pretty happy about that development. And again, it's a lot of fun to watch. Also, all-pro person. Last 2 days. Today, there wasn't a lot of guys doing autographs. I think CJ West was literally only the other guy to do an autograph. Upton Stout started out one side, and I'm talking about you have hundreds of people lined up. He did every autograph. all the way down the line. Second day in a row, he's been out there signing autographs, taking pictures, spending a bunch of time with fans. And again, as a father myself, the kids go to training camp for autographs. They don't care. I mean, they'll care about the football. They go because they want to meet their favorite players. They go because they want to go see what autographs they can snag. They want to see who they can get. That's like, and there's a ton of kids at camp, and that's what they're looking for. And so when you have guys like Upton, guys like George Kittle, who always make time for the kids, for the fans, it's appreciated. It really is. Like, again, I get a lot of enjoyment when I bring my kids to camp and they go out and get autographs. Like yesterday, my son got Brock Purdy. He was the first one to get an autograph from Purdy. Purdy's walking over to the entire group of hundreds of people screaming his name. He looks at my son and he says, you're first, because he was wearing a Brock Purdy jersey, and they got his Brock Purdy jersey autograph. Core memories right there for these fans. This is like how you lock in fans for life. So I just appreciate that from the players when they take the time, get autographs for the kids, all that good stuff. Great time. Upton Stout, one of the best players, one of the best guys so far at 49ers training camp. So you love to see it. What happened in the fight? It was between Connor Colby and an anonymous defensive lineman. I didn't see the number. All I saw was Connor Colby on top of this D lineman dropping a knee to the chest, and then benches clearing, and that was about it. But it was between Colby, the 7th-round draft pick rookie, and some defensive linemen. Again, I only saw the part where Colby was on top of him, dropped the knee, and that was it. Benches cleared. And that was the extent of the fight, but it was good. It was nice. You know what it tells me? It tells me that the boys are ready to hit someone else other than their own team, and that's why I'm excited on Thursday. Denver Broncos are going to be in town for joint practices, and I think that is going to be a blast. I cannot wait to see that. And, you know, shout out to the 49ers for making that available to the fans. Like, that's awesome. Normally that's not the case. I feel like that kind of almost goes against what you would expect from the 49ers to do. And so shout out to them for making that available on Thursday. So I'm excited for that. Only one day of joint practices against the Broncos, but I'll take it. I think it's going to be a fun practice. I think it's going to be a heavy hitter practice for sure. Old friend alerts. You're going to have Dre Greenlaw. You're going to have Mike McGlinchey. You're going to have Talanoa Hufanga, DJ Jones. You're going to have some familiar faces over there facing off versus the 49ers with the Broncos. So looking forward to that. I will say Ben Barch got a phenomenal pancake in one-on-one drills. Honestly, you really don't see pancake blocks in one-on-one drills. It's honestly not something that occurs all that much. It's much more rare for offensive linemen because obviously they're pass setting. They're moving backwards. So you really don't see pancakes that much. But Ben Barch pancaked Alfred Collins. I would say Alfred Collins is probably having one of the slower camps in regards to all the rookies. I know we're hyping up Upton Stout. There's other guys that we're going to hype up. But, I think Alfred Collins, I think he's having a bit of an acclimation period, obviously missing the offseason program and then learning a new scheme. I think he'll get there. It's just not there yet. He did have a couple good reps in one-on-ones as well, that being Alfred Collins. He had a win. I didn't see who the offensive lineman he was going against. And then he had a solid rep against Nugent. But yeah, I want to see Alfred Collins flash a little bit more. I'm excited to see what he looks like against the Broncos. So that's going to be a guy that I'm looking for as well. Gage, I think Russell Gage is going to make this team. I think right now, because if you think about all the wide receivers, it's Brandon Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, Jacob Cowing, Jordan Watkins, Demarcus Robinson, 6. It's going to be tough, but if they keep 7, I think Russell Gage is going to make it. He's been awesome, honestly. He's been pretty solid. But Jordan Watkins definitely, I would say, had his best practice today. Jordan and Mac Jones developing a rapport. One of the things that's interesting is Mac Jones has favorites. One of Mac Jones's favorite targets is Braden Willis. Every day he finds Braden Willis. Not once, not twice, like 3 times. Every day Mac Jones finds Braden Willis. It's an interesting development. I don't know what it means because obviously the 49ers have Luke Farrell, who they signed to a 3-year, $12 million deal. They have Ross Dwelly in camp. They have Jake Tonges, who made the roster last season. And, you know, Braden Willis didn't make the roster last year. I think he was a practice squad guy. But Braden Willis, whenever Mac Jones has the ball, Braden Willis is in that rotation. So we'll see. We'll see what that looks like. Junior Bergen probably had one of the better practices that I've seen from him all of training camp. He had a really nice one-on-one, and he had a nice play in team. So good for him. But like I said, Watkins had a good day today. That connection to from Mac Jones is picking up. I saw Nick Martin flash in space. But when we get to the team period portion, Ricky Pearsall and Brock Purdy seem to be on point today. There was one rep where Ricky fell to the ground. So, again, that was 2 reps. So what I'm kind of noticing with Ricky is if he's going against zone coverage, he's going to eat you up. He is going to eat that zone up, find the soft spot in the zone. If you're going to play off coverage, he's quick enough to get separation from you in a hurry. I do notice, though, when there is some contact around 5 yards and around the top of his brakes, he is slipping at least twice today. Trying to get out of his break, he fell. So he fell twice, once in one-on-ones, once in team period against Rishi Grant in coverage. So keeping his feet, I would say, is really the only critique right now that I have of Ricky in those situations. But other than that, he looks fast. He looks fast. He looks like what on these in-breaking routes, like slant routes or deep overs, he looks really good. He had one on the play where it was an Upton Stout sack, 100% Upton Stout sack. Upton let the play continue. Brock hit Ricky over the middle, probably around 15 yards depth, 12 to 15 yards. And it was a little behind Ricky because it was disrupted by Upton Stout. So it messed up the timing. But it was still a catchable ball. And Ricky, like, levitated in the air, did a 360, so basically caught the ball behind him, but kept his momentum rotating. so that he could do a 360 and land and keep running. It was pretty impressive. All things considered, to kind of see the levitation and the spin, to be able to catch it behind him and then use that momentum to flip around. It was pretty nice. It was pretty nice for sure. Brock also had a nice pass to Ricky Pearsall on a corner route where Ricky kind of split the coverage, kind of split the safeties towards the corner, and was able, just threw a rope. Great pass by Brock to Ricky. How does Ricky's camp compare to Ayuk's 2023 camp? I'm not sure I've seen a player have as dominant of a camp as 2023 Brandon Ayuk. That camp was electric. He was unstoppable. No one was stopping Brandon Ayuk in 2023. He was unguardable. So it's definitely not to that level. I would pump the brakes on Ricky's having a good camp. Like, let's be honest. Like, he's having a good camp. Also, keep in mind, he didn't really have a camp last year. So it's also the first time that a lot of the people who are reporting on camp are really seeing Ricky in a camp setting, because he wasn't the one and only day that I was credentialed to 49ers training camp was the day Ricky got hurt, and he didn't play from that point on the rest of camp preseason. So while Ricky is having a good camp, he's not having an Ayuk camp. I'll say that. He's having a good camp. He's just not having a BA camp. BA camps were different. He was a different animal in that regard. I would say some of the young linebackers are stepping up. Nick Martin was flashing a couple times with some tackles in space. Jalen Graham has been a guy that's been flashing for me. I don't know if Jalen Graham is going to make the roster. He seems like he could be a practice squad guy, but Jalen Graham for sure looks the part. Like, he looks very athletic. He made back-to-back plays today in the run game. Jalen Graham has made some nice interceptions in previous practices. Jalen Graham, I don't know what his role will be with the San Francisco 49ers this upcoming season, but he looks like a player. He wears 41, so he looks like a huge safety, but he's just so athletic. Like, he moves very well. Also, Tatum Bethune flashed with a run stop as well. So Tatum Bethune has been pretty solid in the run game. Jalen Graham looks good as well. So we'll see what's going to go on with that young linebacker core. D. Winters was tested twice today on deep coverages. One to CMC, I think both to CMC. No, one to CMC. One to someone else. The one to CMC, the ball was a little inside, and CMC was gesturing PI. I don't know really how much PI it was. It seemed pretty clean to me. But I think it was just D was stopping CMC from fighting back towards the football, which really what it was. But Brock and Pearsall connected. Brock had an interception today. Wasn't a good one. I don't know the context of it, other than it was high and behind Kittle, who was open over the middle, and it went straight to Richie Grant. Take that for what it's worth. But after that, Brock was fine. He came back and was able to get after it and make some good plays, including a nice touchdown pass to George Kittle, where Kittle was running right to left across the end zone. Looked like he split the safeties, and Brock just hit a nice pass to Kittle for a touchdown. So those guys were able to bounce back. Diamador Lenore had a really nice PBU today on Kittle. That was a fun matchup. I haven't seen too much of this training camp, so it was cool to see Diamador get in the mix versus Kittle, who I think is having a phenomenal camp. We talked about Brock to Pearsall. They were cooking. Let's talk a little bit about the defense as much as I can. Both Fred and Demo had really nice run stops on CMC today. There was a portion, I think, in the second team period where Robert Saleh got real exotic, real tricky, started bringing out the stunts and the blitzes and different alignment looks, and that's about as far as I can say on the matter, because I don't want to get in trouble. But it was really exciting. It was really exciting to watch, because when I think of the 49ers defense over the last 2 years, I think of very plain, very vanilla, very standard looks. And I saw some stuff today that was eccentric, that was spicy, that was wonderful, and was working. Like I mentioned, they gave the 49ers offense some fits today. One, Kalia Davis on a stunt. I won't get into detail of what the stunt was, but Kalia Davis literally ran into Brock. That's how successful it is. As you guys know, they're coached not to touch the quarterback. They're coached not to get around the quarterback. They're coached to run around him. He ran straight into Brock. It worked so well. Obviously would have been a sack, but they kept the play going, and all that stuff. I mean, again, the alignments that they were using, beautiful. Like, I saw something today that I don't know if I've ever seen another defense do. I was like, that? I was pointing to it. I was literally just pointing at it because I didn't know what else to do. Because I'm like, what is this? What is he doing? That's crazy. I've never seen that before. You guys know I like to watch film. You guys know I break down the 49ers offense every week. I'm seeing what the league's doing to Shanahan's offenses all the time. You guys know I have my questions. You guys know I'm like, what are these looks that we're like? You guys know that I watch film, so I pay attention to those things, and I'm like, what is that? What is that? I like it. That looks exciting. That's about as much detail that I can go into on that. Beal had a sack today. Jacob Robinson and Dallas Flowers are two DBs that I'm really liking. I really like what those guys are doing. I'm a big Dallas Flowers guy. I think that he not only is going to make the roster, but I think he's going to start. I do. At one point, or he's going to be heavily involved in the rotation. Obviously, you're going to have Diamador Lenore, Renardo Green, Upton Stout. I think those are your top three cornerbacks right now. But obviously, with no Renardo, Flowers is getting that look, and Flowers is solid. He's a great athlete. He has great length. He is honestly awesome ball skills when it comes to creating deflections. He dropped his shoulder on CMC in a run play today. He's willing to get dirty and do all the things. So I'm really liking those guys. Jacob Robinson has made plays, like I said, undrafted free agent, rookie out of BYU. He's been making some plays. So yeah, I was really happy with some of the stuff that I saw today by the defense. You guys know I'm an offensive guy. I even got my O-line mastermind shirt on to even showcase how much of an offensive guy I am. But today the defense was exciting. Today the defense showed some stuff, which is awesome considering there was no Bosa, there's no Evan Anderson, there's no Jair Brown, there was no Renardo Green. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are out rehabbing. Kyle Juszczyk, Isaac Guerrero, Andre Dillard. You know, there's a good amount of people who aren't participating, and I was pretty excited with what I saw from the 49ers so far. You know, the 49ers do seem a little susceptible on the deep ball right now. You know, they do make plays on deep ball throws, so it's not like they're just constantly getting beat. But, Kittle splitting the safeties, Pearsall splitting the safeties at times, Jordan Watkins splitting the safeties at times. So I think today was pretty solid for showcasing the competition. I think the competition today was on point. You know, all things considered. I think that both sides of the football got better today. I think both sides of the football made plays today. And I think that's what you need in a competitive. If you want a team that is going to go far in the season and win games, I think you have to have competitive practices. I think you have to, win some reps, you lose some reps, and you just go back and forth. And I think that's what I saw today. I saw the offense have some really good plays. I saw the defense have some really good plays. I saw draws. I saw flat out wins, flat out losses, but it wasn't just a consistent thing on one side of the football or one specific player. There was always some kind of get back. Someone always, got their get back. And I think that's a positive. I think that the fact that these guys are, in the dog days of camp and they are balling like they are, and again, just competing. I think that's what was really missing last year was the competition. And I think that's what's returned is that competitive edge, that juice, that energy, and that's what makes this camp feel so much different than last year. Last year felt like a slog, like it was a drain. We're heading up on, I think last year 8-7. So I think the next practice is 8-7 on Thursday versus the Broncos. Last year's 8-7 was the worst training camp practice I've ever seen by a mile. It was in the midst of the Brandon Ayuk trade drama. They had all the alums out, and they were horrendous on both sides of the football. The energy was awful. It was palpable how bad the energy was at last year's 8-7 Dwight Clark Day. And I don't think we're going to get that this year. It's the opposite. These guys are hungry. These guys are juiced. They're ready to go. Yeah, are there injuries? But it's next man up. It's next man up. And some of these guys are, like I said, Dallas Flowers. He's taking advantage of his opportunities. He's not a guy who I even knew who he was heading into this training camp. He's taking advantage of his opportunities, and that's what you got to do. So I'm pretty hyped about it. Today was a fun day. Today was a fun football day. Watching 49ers training camp. If you're just a nerd of football, which I am, and that's why it was fun. So genuinely just excited for what this team can be. I don't love the injuries. But that's a given. That's every year. We don't like the injuries. I'll take a couple questions before I get out of here, if you have any. Do I think Sebastian Valdez will make the 53? He has a chance. I think he has a chance because the 49ers need some defensive linemen. I think Kevin Givens' injury really opens up that potential door for Valdez. I think Valdez has been solid. He's been a solid, at least in one-on-ones. Again, it's harder to watch the trench guys stand out, especially on the interior of team period in some occasions. But I do think Valdez is a solid player. He looks like he definitely has some potential for sure. Oh, this is a great question. I love this question because I think that this team very seldom played a full 60 minutes last year. So I think they can. I think a big part of that had to do with the energy that they had or lack thereof. And I think what's gonna be interesting is can they play 60 minutes down the stretch, week 15, week 16, when they got rookies out here hitting a rookie wall. Can they play 60 minutes? Those are the questions that I think are pertinent. I think they'll be able to do so early on. What I'm looking for is at the end of the year when they're having to rely on the younger guys and they're burnt out. How are they going to respond? I'm definitely looking forward to that. Looking at some of your questions. Yeah, come on says great test versus Denver because they are for sure a playoff team on both sides of the ball. Yeah, it's going to be a great test. They're arguably a top 5 defense, and their offense. I think Bo Nix. I was sleeping on Bo Nix last year, heading into the draft. He looks the part of a future big time quarterback, and they have some weapons on the outside. They have some potential to be a really solid team. Yeah, so it was nice watching these guys work out. Green, Cowing, Yetur Gross Matos looks like he's really close. Andre Dillard seems close as well. I hope Dillard can be something because they really need to lock down their swing tackle position. I think Burford is serviceable, but he's not ideal. He's not ideal. I think he's better suited on the interior. He struggles with bull rush. He struggles with speed. Being on an island like the Huff and Okuwanu have field days when it comes to pass rush moves against Burford because they have a crazy inside spin move. They set up outside speed, counter inside. I think they need to get better at their swing tackle position. Oh, dude, I can't even tell you because I might get in trouble. Some of the alignments that kind of related to this, it was wild. It was wild what they're doing. I can't even say. I don't want to say. I don't want to get in trouble. But they were doing something that was really cool, and I really liked it. And I'll give you a hint. It involved Jason Pinnock doing a lot of different things. That's all I'll say. But they were doing some really cool stuff today, involving a lot of DBs at one point. I've said too much. What is my preseason game 1 fit going to be? I have no idea. I don't even know what my fit is going to be tomorrow. I have no clue. Yeah, Greenlaw will be back. Yeah, the concept of like losing some of these guys, I don't think it's that bad. You know, I think D Ford's stepping up, like from the linebacker position. I'm gonna miss Talanoa. I kind of miss Talanoa right now. Just because Talanoa, when he was healthy, was always in the right spot. He was always where he needed to be. Yeah, did he get beat deep sometimes? Sure. But 9 times out of 10, Talanoa was always in the right spot where he needed to be. And that's why he was what he was. Did I say D Ford again? I do this every day. Every day I say D Ford. See, I need D Winters to really make some plays and just like solidify his name in my brain, because I just say D Ford all the time. I think of D, I think of Ford. I'm sorry. This D Ford, D Winters is my new Charmander's West thing. When I was having such a hard time learning Charvarius Ward's name. Yeah. No disrespect to D Winters. D Winters is having a hell of a camp. But my brain just feels D and it says Ford. So I apologize for that. Yeah, I heard about David Walker tearing his ACL. That was a bummer. That was a bummer for sure. Do I think Robinson gets a 3-game suspension like Addison? Yeah, it kind of feels like it. But we'll see. But shout out to everyone for tapping in. Thank you for following the training camp coverage. I got to go now drive home in, what is it, like 2 hours of traffic? Calculate. Yeah, it's going to be a fun ride home. 2 hours and 2 minutes. Fantastic. So do me a favor, smash that like button to make my commute better. Grab some cookies on the way out. Appreciate y'all. I'm out for now, and we'll be back on Thursday for joint practices. Let's go.
Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see